This is the Momentum Podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is day 2 in a series of how you stop being the biggest bottleneck in your business once and for all in 2022. And step 1 of no longer being the bottleneck, of bottleneck no more, is to create a clear strategic plan. Now, this isn't some boring corporate document. It's not some ethereal, theoretical thing. What it actually is, the strategic plan is a roadmap for your team. It tells them what you're going to accomplish on a monthly basis, what you're going to get done together, all the people or all the projects you're going to accomplish, the policies you're going to put in place in the business, the processes you're going to improve or document, the people you're going to hire, train, move to different positions. Everything's in the strategic plan so the whole team knows what's going on. Now, step 2 of getting out of being the biggest bottleneck is to communicate that strategic plan and communicate in general as effectively as you can with your team.
I'm Alex Charfen, and this is the Momentum Podcast, made for empire builders, game changers, trailblazers, shot takers, record breakers, world makers, and creators of all kinds. Those among us who can't turn it off and don't know why anyone would want to. We challenge complacency, destroy apathy, and we are obsessed with creating momentum so we can roll over bureaucracy and make our greatest contribution. Sure, we pay attention to their rules, but only so that we can bend them, break them, then rewrite them around our own will. We don't accept our destiny, we define it. We don't understand defeat because you only lose if you stop, and we don't know how. While the rest of the world strives for average and clings desperately to the status quo, we are the minority, the few, who are willing to hallucinate there could be a better future. And instead of just daydreaming of what could be, we endure the vulnerability and exposure it takes to make it real. We are the evolutionary hunters, clearly the most important people in the world, because entrepreneurs are the only source of consistent, positive human evolution, and we always will be.
So first, I actually took some notes here. Here's the issue in the vast majority of entrepreneurial businesses. In fact, I can't tell you how many businesses I've started working with where the CEO avoids their team, actually kind of hides from their team, doesn't actually communicate with the team, doesn't have regular meetings with the team, because there's this misconception with us as entrepreneurs that if we put regular meetings on our calendar, if we put schedule and routine together, that we lose freedom. Well, here's the reality. Process will set you free. Consistency will set you free from your business, because here's what's happening in most entrepreneurial businesses. Because there's no cadence or system or process through which the entrepreneur communicates, the team is always waiting for word from on high. And this is what it feels like for a team member. I've interviewed thousands of team members in groups, individually. We worked with so many entrepreneurial businesses around the world. And here's what we hear over and over again through surveys, through one-on-one interviews, through events from team members, is that they don't know how the entrepreneur is going to communicate. They don't know how the CEO is going to communicate. So it's overwhelming. They don't know when they're going to hear from them. They don't know how they're going to hear from them. They don't know what they're going to hear from them. And so here's what happens. In most teams where you have amazing people on the team, you have true believers that want to get things done. When they're not consistently hearing from the CEO, they lose confidence. They lose trust. They lose confidence in themselves to execute because they don't really know where things are going. And so the second step of no longer being the bottleneck is to communicate with your team within a structure. Here's what this means. This means having the right interactions with your team on a calendar scheduled so that they know when they're going to hear from you. Now, I know that for so many entrepreneurs thinking of having scheduled interactions on a calendar, like I hear this all the time from people, Alex, I'll do anything to improve the operations of my business. I just don't want to be in the same meeting every week. That means you won't do everything. And here's the math that I want you to understand. We've worked with a ton of entrepreneurial businesses. And one of the things that we have entrepreneurs do is do a time study. They carry around some sheets of paper. They write down in 15-minute increments everything that they're doing on a day-to-day basis. And here's the result of almost all the time studies before we've worked with somebody. Entrepreneurs are spending 50 to 75% of their time just getting things executed in their business, just getting everybody to do the right things, and they're typically working 40 to 60 hours a week or more. If we look at 50 to 75% of the time and 40 to 60 hours a week, here's what that translates to. At the very low end, 50% of 40 hours is 1,000 hours a year. If we just go to the 60 hours and 75%, that's 2,100 or 2,250 hours a year. That is more than a full-time job. It's 250 hours more than a full-time job. When entrepreneurs tell me they can't get anything done, I'm like, of course you can't, because you're just trying to get people to execute on your team, and you're using transactional management. You're telling people what to do, checking that it got done, telling them what to do, checking that it got done, telling them what to do, checking that it got done. I'm sure just listening to me say that is uncomfortable. Well, when we step into transformational leadership, where we give people clear outcomes. They understand where they're going. They understand our communication system. They understand when we're going to meet with them. And then they can go and create success, and we coach their success. We let them know what they need to do. We show them, we help them, we support them. Then we get leveraged results. So we go from transactional management to transformational leadership in a simple step. And when we have a schedule through which we communicate with our team, the time involved goes way down. I just told you it's 1,000 to 2,250 hours a year just to get the team to execute on time for most entrepreneurs. In our system of having a cadence where you're meeting with your team on a week, on an annual basis for your annual outcomes, on a quarterly basis to set up the next 3 months of productivity, on a monthly basis to create a monthly strategic plan, or what we call a waterfall. It's that roadmap for your team. Then each week to make sure that everybody's executing exactly what they need, and then a daily huddle. That sounds like a lot of meetings, but it's only 300 hours a year. For a lot of people, it's actually less than 300 hours a year, including prep time, including meeting participation. So one of the ways we get such massive results with our members, and we help people go from a couple $1 million a year to 20 or 30 million dollars a year, and we do this often. We don't have 1 or 2 examples of that. We have tons of examples of that, and here's why. When you as the entrepreneur get out of the tactical day-to-day, telling people what to do and checking that it got done, and you can reduce all the time spent in making sure that things get done on time to 300 hours a year, you get so much time back. You have time for yourself, you have time for self-care, you have time for your family, you have time for what you want to understand and do in your life. You also have time to release what's going on and become more strategic and become more creative and contribute to your business in a much higher way. And so if you want to stop being the biggest bottleneck in your company, step 1, clear roadmap, strategic plan. Every 30 days, you renew it. Everyone on the team knows where they're going. They can get out in front of you. They're not stuck behind you. You're no longer the bottleneck of information. Step 2, a clear communication system so your team knows when they're going to hear from you, what they're going to hear from you, and why they're going to hear from you. They show up. They're already winning because they can anticipate what's going on, and everyone on the team will execute, and it gets you a ton of your time back. So if you are interested in understanding more about how we may be able to help you, let us know. Make any comment below, and we will reach out to you and connect with you and show you how a strategic plan communicated correctly will get you out of being the biggest bottleneck and move your business forward fast. Let's make 2022 the year that you create massive momentum and massive acceleration, and you grow your business with the commitment to yourself that you will not do everything. Thanks for being here today. I appreciate you spending some time here, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Make a comment below if you feel like we can help you. This is going to be an amazing year. Let's make 2022 the best ever.